everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Realm and It's All Connected podcast production. So we have Kez with us today. I'm Gina.
I'm Rich.
I'm Kez.
And we're going to talk to you about some weird shit today. That's basically what we do every Monday. Just talk about weird shit. Without even putting a lot into this, I'll just let everybody know, if you haven't listened to our first podcast, basically what we do, like I said, we're just going to talk about weird shit every week. So sometimes we'll have guest speakers that will be talking about, who are professionals in their field, about weird shit. And sometimes it'll just be us doing research and talking about it. So we'll be posting this on YouTube, any place else you can find your podcast, and we'll also be putting it on Facebook. So you can find us in a lot of mediums. You can interact with us a lot there. And so this week I got to do the research, and it's going to be, I don't even know how to put this. So I just put it out there. So it's been deemed as a UFO religion. Now, I didn't know that was even a thing. So we're going to learn a lot today.
When you told me what we're talking about, I was like, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's called the Aetherius Society. Is really going to be the bulk of what we talk about today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be like our main focus today. So basically, I came across the Aetherius Society in my Facebook feed. They were having an event that was on May 15th. It was on May 14th.
Today? Okay.
No, it was actually May 14th. So we're recording this on May 15th, but it was supposed to be going on May 14th. So I wanted to attend this virtual event, actually. So it was like an in-person and virtual event, and it was called King Yoga. And it was, funded by the Aetherius Society. And so I was like, this looks really cool. So I was like, looking at some of the things and the principles, and trying to figure out like, what exactly are they going to do at this event? And it really intrigued me. And so I'm like, these people need a closer look, because it's actually quite cool. So
I was wondering what yoga had to do with it, but I'm thinking that's more part of the religious part of it, possibly something to do with that.
Yeah. So, here's the thing, it's like they're deemed a UFO religion, just based on, because they meet that criteria. So like there's a organization called Brill, BRILL, and they write
I've heard that before.
Articles. Yeah. So they write a lot of scholarly articles on things that are peer reviewed. So they do a lot of research, different on different matters. And so in that, and through doing some other research, found that they were made into a UFO religion. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means, what a UFO religion means. Let's see here. I actually have some notes here that I'm gonna go down here.
I wonder what kind of hoops you have to jump through to become a religion, period.
Well, so that's the thing, though. The Aetherius Society, they are considered a nonprofit organization, but I don't know if they're listed as a church. So like I was trying to look into it, maybe like it was missing it. So if anybody else has that information, they literally consider themselves a pathway, of a spiritual pathway, and an organization, but not coined as a church. But it's classified as a UFO religion, and they just classify themselves as a spiritual organization on their website. So it was founded by a yoga master named George King, and you can find this organization in 12 countries. So it's Australia, Canada, Ghana, Italy, Japan, New Zealand, Nigeria, Portugal, South Africa, Sweden, UK, and the US. So Dr. George King, he lived from 1919 to 1997. He was born in England. He originally started training in the spiritual science of yoga. So not necessarily the physical, like health benefits of yoga, but on the spiritual side of yoga, where it was like the mantras, the yoga breathing. And there's a couple different, like, you have yoga and then it's kind of sliced up a little bit, because there's also Kundalini yoga, which is my favorite classes to go to, but they're hard to come by in this area anyway. And it's like basically centered more around your chakras. So anyway, he kind of was like studying yoga for those practices, like the deeper aspects of yoga and not just the physical strength part of it. So he studied for like 8 to 10 hours a day, for like he studied all, you know, the aspects behind this higher self, the higher aspects of being. And he would do it like 8 to 10 hours a day for like 10 years. And aside from doing all these studies and doing all these practices and practicing this breath work and meditation and everything else, he was also holding down a full-time job. So, and this was like in the 40s. So in the 1940s. So right. You have to imagine, like, it wasn't super popular to be, I mean, like hippies weren't even around then.
Is it true that he started to develop psychic power somehow?
Yes.
I think I read that someplace.
So what happened is like, so he worked on this, and through like studying this like higher vibration of being and like just meditation and kind of getting on a different level, he started to develop, or not actually develop, he actually was able to, I mean, I believe everybody has psychic abilities. So I think he developed, like made them more developed, like made them more well-rounded, and I guess kind of come to light. I think they have to just like, the light bulb has to turn on. And so because he started developing his psychic abilities, as the story goes, it was like 1954. He was just in his, I don't know exactly where he was at. I think he was like in his flat, his apartment, and it was like breakfast time or morning time. And he was home. And all of a sudden he received this message. It was like a very clear message, like a voice, not his, like it was like he heard this message, and the message said, "Prepare yourself. You're about to become the voice of an interplanetary parliament." And that was a direct quote that I got from the website, that this would happen. So basically it was thought that he was contacted by an intelligent being, and this intelligence goes by the name of Aetherius, which is what they named, why they called it the Aetherius Society.
Okay, so this being, or the whoever told him to prepare yourself, that's the Aetherius.
That's Aetherius. That's who was like passing these messages along.
Okay.
He wasn't the only
one. This is the first time he's come across the Aetherius thing, was in 1954.
Correct. So this is the first time. Okay. And it doesn't really necessarily say if Aetherius is like male or female. It's just considered a god from this area or from this realm. And it was like believed to be from Venus, I guess, is what the thought was. It's like through the information that Dr. King had received, it was that this person was from, or this being, entity was from Venus. So this happens, he gets this message, and within a few days later, it's reported that he was visited by this world-renowned yogi. It did not say who. So it was this a yogi, which is who's like a master in the yogi world. This yogi visited him in physical form, but this yogi actually lived in India. So he didn't come from India, like flew on a plane. It was that he showed up in physical form and came to visit him. And then when he left, it was like he just went through the door, like he vanished, like magic.
So he was like astral projecting himself.
Exactly. So the thought is that he was like psychically
like a hologram of this yogi, or whatever.
Yep. And so
not Aetherius though.
Not Aetherius. This was a different yogi. So yogi master came and gave him these messages. Gave him this message like, hey, this is the process. This is what's going to start happening. You know, this is what you need to do, kind of thing. That's what I got from the gist of doing this research. Okay. So then after this time, he started receiving messages from Aetherius and other gods from other worlds, other areas. So sometimes the messages would come telepathically. Sometimes they were during a trance. He would like get into a trance like state that he had perfected this practice for himself during all the practicing with the breath work and the yoga and the meditation. So he would get in this trance state and sometimes receive these messages through there. The transmissions themselves were thought, like the information that he got was thought to contain like some of the greatest spiritual teachings from the other world and beyond, like worlds that were more developed, more wise, more, on a higher plane of existence than us. And so he received, over the course of these years, he had received over 600 cosmic transmissions. All right. So it said many of the entities were residing on higher planes of other planets in the solar system. Aetherius, like I said, was believed to be from Venus. It was said that, and basically how Dr. King described it was that if a spaceship were to go to Venus to try to find existence of this civilization, they wouldn't be able to see it. It would take, but if like a highly ascended yoga master or like a genuine master, I guess, of yoga had projected themselves to that place, similar to like what the yogi did to come to him, then they would find a full civilization that existed on a frequency of vibration that on Earth we're not accustomed to.
That's kind of a cool concept to think about.
Exactly.
If, we're always about like, aliens, and why don't we see them then? And, people think, oh, there's aliens on Mars, but we're, now we're able to look on Mars and we don't see anything over there. But that could be a potential thing. It's like, you're just not on the right frequency. You can't, it's just the same as if you're talking to somebody on a two-way radio. So if you're not on the same channel, then you can't hear them.
In that respect, right now, going on around us, there could be other things that we can't see, like
exactly
alternate universe. I'm going to start playing that card. Let's
right.
say there's someplace else, there's my house, my yard, my whole thing in an alternate universe that I can't see, but there's people over there that can't see this way either. Let's say then there's a rip in that time. How does, that'd be interesting.
That's what they call the glitch in the matrix.
There you go. Okay.
If you want to put it into perspective though, think about it this way, because some people are like, man, this shit is too far-fetched for me. But think about it this way. Because even some people don't believe in psychics, but how many people lose a loved one and then they go to a psychic to try to communicate with them because they want to get a message? And we all have that capability, because I do believe that, there is the afterlife, and the only difference between the afterlife and here is the vibration by which we are on, right? And so some people that have developed those skills a little bit more than others are able to communicate with those on the other side. So that's why I know this shit sounds crazy, but at the same time, we already believe in a version of this. Right. We already we've believed in multiple versions of this, from psychics to Jesus to everything. We've literally believed in every version of this that you can imagine.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of maybe.
Yeah, but is it because it's talking about UFOs and aliens that's why just people are like, no?
I don't know. And the thing is I hadn't heard about it before now. That's what I'm saying. It's like they've just,
it's relatively recent. The time frame is relatively recent. It's not like it's, you're talking, he died in 97. So this isn't like we're talking ancient stuff here that no one ever heard about. So why is it that?
And it started in the 50s. Yeah. This started in the 50s, if you think about it. And that was a time when not everybody was really into, I guess, all the premises. Wait till I get into the premises of what the spiritual path is about. So anyway, what he was saying is they exist on a different frequency. So we can't see it. If you send a rocket ship, that's why you're not going to see it. So unless you send somebody that can see that stuff, nobody's going to see it. It's kind of like when we discuss for a reality, anybody that wants to dispute that, really reality is we see a table and we call it a table. And therefore we've given it it is what we've called it. That's kind of what they do in philosophy, right? And then an airplane flies because we believe in the science that says it can fly. Right. So, and also, I mean, the science works, right? But I mean, there has to be a belief system in it, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so the basis is the belief and recognitions of beings in other worlds. And there's 3 aspects of the spiritual path. There's more, but like there's 3 basic aspects that they kind of broke down when I was watching this video and reading about it. So for reference sake, I read some stuff on Wikipedia. I did read some stuff through Brill, and I also scoured their website. Like I was in and out of their website. Like I went down so many rabbit holes with this research that it was crazy, but I read everything I could get my hands on. I watched a 2-hour video of theirs, and just I could not find anything negative written about these people either. Nothing. And I'll tell you why, because they're just operating.
Because no one can see them. They're on a different frequency.
There you go. Well, they're also operating for nothing other than the good of mankind and Mother Earth. Like they're really into Mother Earth. And so like their whole thing is like, they're not a religion trying to get a bunch of tax credits and make a bunch of money. And I'll get into that in a minute. So basically, so the spiritual path is what they refer to it, other than the church, is cosmic wisdom, spiritual practice, and service, being of service to others. So they teach and practice yoga as well as another aspect of the path. And so they consider like service being like a karma yoga. And they consider it most essential in this days. Like when we're serving to inspire and uplift all of mankind, that's their concept. They want to serve to uplift all of mankind because humanity needs to change as a whole. And, so these messages have been coming since the mid 50s. Like, the time is coming when, like, if you listen to some of the recordings of this guy, of his transmissions, the time is coming, we've beat up the earth, we've beat up our resources, we've beat up each other. We're falling into these times, and our society is kind of ebbed and flowed of all the bad shit that's gone on, and we've gotten worse, we've gotten better, gotten worse, gotten better. And so I mean, these messages are really quite timeless that had come through, and it really kind of speaks to the fact that time is really, there's no concept of time in that reality. So like where things were coming soon might be like 50 years from now, but I believe with everything going on in the world that we need a little help as humanity to be better. So I said they had the class on May 14th, and it was called A Cosmic Path for Enlightenment. And it was about a 2-hour, 2-hour thing that I listened to.
And this was the current religious group that we're talking about here is who put on the thing that you watched.
Yeah. So the Aetherius, yeah.
So that's it's a current thing. It's something that they're still actively doing. And
yeah, so they're still active. So even though Dr. King passed away in 1997, the society has continued, the organization has continued in their practice, keeping alive all the missions and things that Dr. King wanted to accomplish with mankind and with Mother Earth, and like putting things out there. So one of the things for the Cosmic Path of Enlightenment, this video that I had watched, and really anybody can watch it on YouTube, was to like understand the world where we were living in, why things are speeding up here on Earth, meaning like there's so much shit kind of happening at once. We got global warming, we got wars, we got, all this stuff going on. Understanding the role of Aetherius Society in this speeding up process that's on Earth, like what role they play to try to help with these bad things that are happening. And then their main pillars: service, truth, like the search of truth and sharing the truth, and then advancement, meaning like the journey within of people to advance themselves, and then advance society as a whole. And so, like I said, they were classified as a UFO religion. In order to be classified as a UFO religion, it essentially means that extraterrestrial entities and or UFOs is an element in their belief system. And there's actually like a whole list of these organizations, and I wrote down some of them. There's like So there was like a couple more that I found, but besides Aetherius Society, the main ones that are considered UFO religions is the Church of Subgenius, which has about 10,000 followers. Now, I didn't say how many followers Aetherius Society had. I could not find numbers anywhere. The Church of Subgenius is like, I guess it's kind of a parody religion or whatever, but they still have their belief system, and they actually have like 10,000 people that follow it. Then there's Heaven's Gate that had 39 followers. Heaven's Gate was, you and I had talked about this before. There was a comet back in the 90s called the Hale-Bopp.
Yep.
HALE-BOPP. And the Hale-Bopp comet was like at its closest like to the Earth. And this group believed that there was extraterrestrial entities, but they were Bible based. So the Aetherius Society, I don't see anything Bible based. They do speak of Jesus as a man, you know, that came and had very good teachings, but they're not Bible based at all.
Right.
But Heaven's Gate, they were Bible based in their beliefs, and there was like these two people, and they got like 30 some people to follow them, and you know that they were going to be taken by this UFO. So they were like recruiting.
They're gonna get beamed up.
I know, right? Well, at some point they stopped recruiting people and just developed this like monastery type life where everybody gave up their like belongings and stuff, and they just lived in this big ass house in San Diego, I think. And so they like, you know, wore very basic stuff, but one of the leaders was like really into Nike. So they like always wore Nike shoes. I know it's weird. So so like
Sounds
they had that
right,
going for them. But what they believed that they were going to be beamed up. And then one day they were told that, so I guess this was around the time like the Branch Davidians, if you remember the Branch Davidians, that religious organization that was out. You remember we watched a story on that? Did we watch that together? And so the Branch Davidians were like this group, like in the middle, it was Waco, Texas, I think, right? And so the ATF and other like government
you're talking about that.
Yeah, they went in there and like it ended up, you know, there was shooting and fires and everything else. So the leaders to this Heaven's Gate was like, hey, the government's going to come in, they're going to kill us, so we can't share any more of this information. We just need to be ready because we've been promised something better. This comet's coming. There's a UFO hiding in the tail of this comet, and as soon as it gets close enough, it's going to beam us up. But really what we need to do is we need to just leave our vessels behind, leave our bodies behind, and then it's going to pick us up, like pick our spirits up, and then we'll go and have this great life in another planet.
Where do I sign up for that? I'd like to put my name on that list.
Well, it didn't happen, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it did. Who knows? But so this group actually ended up committing mass suicide. And so it was like 39 people, I think 39 people that died. They put they took like phenobarbital, they mixed a cocktail of like phenobarbital, vodka, something else, and then
everything goes with vodka,
right? And then, but this is a really disturbing part. So this is really actually very sad. So there were two people that stayed behind, and they did them in groups of like 15. So it was like 15, and then 9 on the last day. I think that's how it went. Yeah. So there was 2 people that agreed to stay behind. So these people took this medicine. They got like really out of their mind. They laid in their beds, or they actually had to have like plastic bags around them, and they were like suffocated. And then the people that were still living, like put them in their beds, covered them up with a purple sheet or something. And then they were all dressed alike, and they had their Nikes on. So anyway, so like, I think that when you have any type of religion or organizations that's grouped in the same type as yours, it can make yours seem crazy, right? So like there's some people who have a problem with some types of even Christian organizations, but it's because maybe some are so extreme, and then it makes everybody just believes every Christian group must be that same way, you know? It just takes one to ruin it. So then other UFO groups was Raelianism, which has over 100,000 members, and they're not Bible based. They're very similar in their thought process to the Aetherius Society. Scientology is classified as a UFO group. They have 29,000 followers. I thought they had more, but from when I read, it looked like 29,000 based on the research I did. So if anybody's out there, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
People are jumping ship on that one, I think.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see that show with Leah Remini on Scientology?
No, see, I probably should watch more of that stuff.
You need to
it'll help
watch
me
that.
when we have podcasts, because I don't know stuff. But
It is eye-opening. And then there's the Unarius Academy of Science, unknown amount of members, and Universal Industrial Church of the New World Comforter. That is a really long ass name. I don't know what they do.
they make comforters.
They are Bible based as well. So there are a few Bible based UFO groups. Most of them, though, actually hinge on transmissions from other entities telling us how we need to take better care of the earth and each other. So it's really very benign things. So in order to become a member, so my question was, I was like, oh, okay, well, Scientology's in this group. And I know in Scientology, like people they basically hand over all their money. They spend thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to learn about Scientology and to like move up into Scientology. Cause I think they have this like grid, like this, I don't know, what am I
Who's the head of Scientology?
L. Ron Hubbard, but he's passed now, but I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know who's running it now, but he's the one that started it.
Okay.
So in Scientology, you basically had to buy your way to each level. Like if you wanted to attain, this like greatest level in the church. So I was like,
I'd still be a peasant.
I'd say there's something about having to buy your way just doesn't, yeah. If someone's telling you got to pay, you want to be better, just give us all your money. Well, somewhere on there, you would think that you'd have to.
Right. Like, why isn't that the red flag? Why is that not a full stop the minute?
Exactly. I mean, if you're talking about, religion, you're talking about the earth, you're talking about, but by the way, if you want to move ahead, give us all your money and then you can move up a step. That won't be the top step because we're going to ask you for more money later. I mean, and people just go, okay, no problem. Here you go.
10,000 here, 25,000.
That just blows my mind that, I mean, just me in my personal life, when I'm talking to somebody and it's someone trying to sell something and right away they want your credit card number, send me money, click. It's like, no, we are not playing that game. I mean, I'm not the only one I would assume that does that. I mean, it's like, come on. I mean, back in the day, I mean, the solicitors probably got away with a lot of that stuff and a lot more people did that, like the 8-track tape club or the CD clubs or whatever. People just throwing their money in because
10 cassettes for a penny. I paid my penny and then I never paid the rest of it. I owe that club a lot of money.
We won't even answer the phone for someone trying to renew our car warranty, so.
But also, like a lot of people, from my understanding, that follow Scientology or involved in that have a lot of money to their names. So if we think of it,
names I've seen, yes.
If we think of it more of like to scale, right? So I don't have a hell of a lot of money, but if I want to learn something or better myself, like say, I want to learn Reiki or I want to go on a group meditation or something like that, I'm still paying money towards this event to do this to, in a way, like increase my, my level up in what I feel is leveling up in the world. So
I guess you're right.
Maybe it's not necessarily comparable because it's like I'm not paying to be like the president of something, but it's not like a political thing, but
you're basically
large scale. Somebody in Scientology is like, oh yeah, you want $10,000? Sure, that's to me that's $2.
Yeah, you're basically paying for salvation in those situations. By the way, I see us all enjoying a beverage. So what's everybody drinking this evening before we move on?
I've got my standard Leinie Kugels.
Which one? Summer
I don't
Shandy?
know. Wherever I am. Right there.
Oh, there you go.
No, Juicy Peach.
Juicy Peach.
Yeah.
What do you have, Kaz?
Well, about 3 seconds ago, I had a spotted cow.
You finished it?
Sweet.
Sure did.
I must be talking.
That's why I have 2 of them.
I have nice. I have Outboard Cream Ale by Milwaukee Brewing Company.
Which one is that?
It's Outboard Cream Ale by Milwaukee Brewing Company.
Nice.
It's one of my faves.
Nice.
I love it. It's a cream ale. Okay. So back to this. So
it's a cream ale.
Cream ale. Membership is actually only $60 a year for this Aetherius Society.
But
Now,
there's still a dollar amount.
yeah, but look at this. When a church that I won't name at this time, because we'll probably do a podcast at another time on them, when I was once affiliated with them when I was much younger, the standard is to give 10% of your earnings in tithe. So they expected every 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever you got a paycheck, you had to give 10% of it. So
What if you
$60
didn't?
a year.
What if you didn't? Then they kick you out. If you didn't, then they kick you out.
Well, you're like not held in good favor. We'll talk about that when the time comes for that podcast. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people give tithe. Like, okay, the Catholic Church takes up collections. I mean, a lot of people give quite a bit of money. I mean, $60 for a year to membership to the church so that they can basically continue to help people or put on, because they put on workshops and they do other types of things. And I'll talk about that. I think that's where the money goes to.
You're starting to sound like a fan.
You know what we should do is we should join as a group
and just
see what we get for a year.
You don't even have to you don't have to, you can be just a friend of the church, or not church, I shouldn't say church, friend of the society, and not necessarily a member. Like when you're a member, it's basically like when you decide you're going to join and be a member. And I do sound like a fan because I'm a fan of how they've structured it. I'm a fan of like how they're handling their shit because I feel like that it's respectable. So that I am truly a fan of.
Well, it must be because you haven't heard anything bad about them.
Right.
If it was horrible, you'd be hearing about it. And we haven't heard anything bad. I mean, we haven't heard nothing great, but they're just not publicizing that stuff. And on the flip side, you're not hearing bad stories about them. And if they're still out there.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't heard anything negative. It's not like you have people like trying to leave the church and they're being like stalked by somebody in their vehicles and told they're going to die a horrible death, and because they won't have salvation or whatever. It happens. There's religions that do that. Anyway, so but to become a member, you pay the $60 a year, but then on top of it, like to initially become a member, you have to like support their belief systems. Like they don't want just somebody randomly like paying $60 to be part of a religion and not understand, or not a religion. Damn it. Stop saying that. An organization. And they want you to understand like what they're about, because if you don't understand what they're about, they don't like, you know, that would make sense. Like that makes me feel good with them saying, we really want you to know like what we believe before you become a member. Whereas other organizations are like, let me pull you in, you know, and it doesn't matter what you believe. We're going to get you to believe this way. So basically you have to read like 5 books that they sell. So like when you read these 5 books, it comes to $84 total. It's like $84.80 to read these 5 books, these publications. But they sound like the type of organization, like, let's say if you didn't have the money, who knows, maybe they like, I don't know. So nobody quote me on this. Maybe you could let them know. Maybe they can help you out. So, they said that they keep the membership payment low. They don't collect money at any other time. That's it. It's not like they have these meetings at church and collect money for tithing every week. So they keep it low purposefully to make it affordable to all, because it's not about making money for them. It's about being able to continue to do the work that they believe in. And they even offer some free services in the form of energy work. So like Kez mentioned Reiki, like they literally will give free. I'm assuming the energy work is similar to Reiki and they give it for free. So like you can literally schedule an appointment. It's about an hour appointment. You can go in there. So they do have initiations, like if you want to move up in their hierarchy, but you don't have to pay for it. It's basically, once you read the material and you've done like some volunteer work through some of the missions that they want to do, like you just have to do like 2 things, I think, to do the first tier or whatever. And basically the only thing the hierarchy does is it just allows you to be more involved in what they're doing for a mission. Let's see here. What type of events they have here? So they do pilgrimage, so holy places where they consider the land spiritual, and they like they get together as a group and send out healing energy to the world and stuff like that. So they kind of get together and do that. And they do other things. Another thing people might have a problem with or think is like kind of goofy, when we talked before about communicating with the aliens, was that they also believe that they have cosmic missions that they need to do. And one is called Operation Sunbeam. And so they believe that they need to carry out these missions, and that, let's see, hang on. That if they didn't carry out the Operation Sunbeam missions, there would be more disturbances in the oceans and with tectonic plates causing catastrophic events. The spacing between events, they feel, is largely in part due to the success of Operation Sunbeam, if I'm reading what I'm, researching correctly, and that they've basically saved the world from a lot of catastrophes. I mean, there have been catastrophes, but there could have been more if they didn't do what they do. And so essentially what they do is they collect a bunch of energy from these like holy spots, and they kind of return it to the chakra of Mother Earth. They call it the psychic center of Mother Earth, because they believe another big principle is that not only do they believe that they're receiving these transmissions from a cosmic place, but they also believe that Mother Earth is a living, breathing being that we've taken advantage of, and that we've abused and neglected, and that she's tried to compensate and tried to bend and give back and take care of us all. And we've been selfish in taking care of her, and that eventually there's going to be this large event that happens because Mother Earth is like, can't do no more. And
That's called the apocalypse.
and then the people that live, or the people that are able to understand that they need to take better care of her. And it's not necessarily you have to be Aetherius Society. And that's the other thing about the Aetherius Society that I'm a huge fan of, is that they say they don't think they're the end all be all. They don't think they're like the one true enlightened way to anything. They give credence to every single thought process, religion, because they say it's all doing the same thing. It's just a different vehicle, basically. And it's the vehicle it chose. So that is the information.
She's fangirling. Here she goes. Woo woo.
I feel fangirl. So now I've given you guys this information. I want to hear what you think.
I'm in. $60.
No, well,
all right.
84
plus $60. I'm out.
80. No, it's 84.80 total. It's 60 plus the books to start.
Oh, so the books are cheap.
Yeah, and then like the 5 books, there's like one book that's $26. The rest of them are $16 and below.
So, but they're gonna still make me pay the membership before I read the books.
No, you read the books, because you can't become a member until you read the books.
Oh. So first I pay the $20 to read the books, and then if I like it, I pay the
books are more than $20 total. I said the books, there's one.
It's all financial for me. I just need to know.
See, I said
I need to know what they're trying to.
Miser.
I need to know what they're trying to rake out of me.
Well, so first you have to have like the 12 blessings. That's $16.95. Look, I sound like a commercial for the.
Wait. Can I be an Aetherian? Can I believe in what they believe in? And
can't we just
not
be
go to
friends of them,
church?
like you said, and not pay anything?
Yeah. So it's the $60. So you can do the $60 to donate to them and be a friend of them, and
so
you
still got to give them $60.
Yeah, but you still get the benefits of like being able to go to these pilgrimages, or the workshops and stuff they do. Oh, and that's the other thing. Hold on.
What do they do around here? If that was something that was going to happen, where would we go around here to join them to do things?
That is the only thing I did. So the United States headquarters is in Los Angeles, but there you can like become
all the weird stuff is in California.
Right, yeah. LA specifically.
That's where all the actors are.
But we love Southern California. Kez, don't act like you hate it.
I like Long Beach.
Oh, we miss it so much.
I like Short Beach.
Well, so some of the workshops that they lecture on, they do lectures and like trainings on like spiritual healing. They do lectures on extraterrestrial life, UFOs, karma, reincarnation, spiritual energy, prayer, yoga,
So do I gotta pay extra to go do those things?
No, they're like a
No.
giving community. They even do workshops on like meditation, numerology, positive thinking. I mean, I just feel like, and so it's also, it's managed as one worldwide organization, even though it's in different countries, they like function as one organization. So it's not like, you know, you're going to get something different if you go to New Zealand. It's like all the same. Questions, comments, concerns? I want to know what you think about this concept.
I don't think it's horrible. Like you said, I don't think they're doing anything horrible or bad. Do I buy into it? I mean, I've bought into worse things that I can believe in. So I mean, but I'm still the skeptic. So
Yeah.
you know,
I'd love to watch more of their videos and read their books though. And it just specifically just for my mind to know and to understand these different organizations that are out there. You know, I think what's hard is I think people believe in a lot of these core things, but then you get to like where they're doing missions where they're like,
I think it's the bad ones that give the good ones a bad name. Does it make sense?
yeah,
It's the ones that do all the shady stuff, or the ones that you hear the bad things about, or the mass suicides, or the whatever. They give the good ones a bad name.
Well, it's easy to call
it makes
something
you
a cult.
skeptical on that. You know, you're like,
It's easy to call something a cult when you don't understand it, because like I said, there's a couple, they have this Operation Power Prayer sessions that meets on a regular basis. But then before that, when they do like these pilgrimages, it's called Operation Power. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Is that what it's called? Hang on.
what's the sun? Something with the sun, right?
Well, no. So that was the Operation Sunbeam.
Operation
but this
Sunbeam.
one,
Yep. Okay.
they do this power meeting where they get together. They kind of get like they're this power circle, and they're like, these people take their collective energy and they like push the energy towards like the lead person, right? And then the lead person directs the energy into this spiritual energy battery. So that was the one thing Dr. King like developed a couple devices that's supposed to store this energy. So everybody takes their collective energy, gives it to the lead person. The lead person's like praying in their own dynamic way and taking all of that and pushing it into this battery that he made. And then it's like the energy is like stored. I think of like Ghostbusters, you know, when they put the ectoplasm in the little, like that's what I'm picturing. But so they put it in this thing, and then it's like released during times when like people or the world really needs it, or the earth or Mother Earth needs it, like, and puts it back out there. So I think it's just little things like that people are like,
Yeah, I would agree. I'd be one of those people. I'd be like,
it's kind of
I don't
weird.
know.
But I mean, is it any more
definitely
weird
weird.
than thinking about you're eating the body and blood of Christ every Sunday?
Probably not. I would say it's not as weird.
If you fart in a jar, does it linger?
Kez is all contemplative.
Not the same thing.
Oh, sorry.
We're not on that philosophy.
We're putting things in jars and vessels and releasing them later. So
batteries. This
batteries.
is not a Dutch oven. This is not Dutch oven. This is not Dutch oven spirituality here. Okay.
Gotcha. My bad. I was not there.
I mean, why not? I like the idea. So
I just thought it was so cool. How can we have not heard of this society before?
like I said, the only thing I could think of is
they didn't kill anybody.
Exactly. You're not getting any bad press off it.
And they also didn't run around going, we're getting beamed up. We're getting beamed up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, their whole premise is like very similar to the Raelians. When I was telling you about the Raelian religion, that's a UFO religion. Their thing is like, somebody had asked them about like their aspect of like other, like Heaven's Gate, how they committed suicide and stuff to achieve this. And the Raelians believe like, hell no, like life is beautiful and precious. And we're just trying to make, like, we want to enjoy this world. We want to enjoy this life. Like this world has so much to offer. So let's just treat everybody and everything correctly so that we can all have an enjoyable time while we're here. So I was pleasantly surprised by some of the UFO religions that I read up on. And I don't know. I was very impressed.
Well,
because they're surprisingly
when you
more
first talk about
lighter.
it, you thinking this has nothing to do with people seeing UFOs.
Right.
This is something this is something that is from a different place, and that's how it gets categorized as a UFO religion.
Yeah.
When I first read it and looked at it, I'm thinking UFOs. I'm like, what? It's not, like you said, you need to research it, you need to read it, and you need to like you said, maybe watch that what was it that you went on? It was
It was a YouTube and like
YouTube video of it, watching
yeah,
something like that to understand it more.
honestly, anybody can go
But,
to
you know.
the Aetherius Society's website and read and learn more about it. And you can go to YouTube and just type in Aetherius Society and there's videos that pop up.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really seem like they've got a lot of UFO aspect to it anyways. I mean,
No,
the only
absolutely.
thing was you might see, other beings on another planet
and you
if
might get transmission
you're
from them if you reach a certain heightened state.
right, but they're not
Right.
like you said, they're not seeing flying saucers and
Right.
summoning aliens per se, like, oh, we're about to get invaded.
And
They're just
maybe
like,
if it was, or that's what they were talking about, maybe that's where you'd hear more about it. And that's maybe where you'd get more of the skepticism and people would be freaked out a little more.
Well,
'cause
what's
they're not
really the
talking about that.
difference? What's the difference between aliens and gods? They're just saying it's a being from not here.
Right.
So like somebody decided, oh, this is a being from not here on a different planet. Like, oh, aliens. No, I'm just talking about a different god. I'm talking about a god at somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, really, UFO, unidentified flying object, right? So they just kind of was like, oh, you mentioned something from a different planet. You must be talking about aliens. And all we really have for aliens is UFOs. So you are a UFO religion.
Right.
There we go.
Right.
Putting everything in a little box.
Where you have like the other churches that aren't considered UFO religions, but their premise is very similar to the Aetherius Society in the sense that, like, for instance, the Aetherius Society says they receive these transmissions from an alien being. Well, like, there's other religions, for instance, like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormons. I did not know this years ago, but I've learned since that they believe that their civilization was built like close to this planet where God is from or something, and then like when we were ready they put us in alignment where we are with the sun now, like in our planetary order. But what I did find curious is the link to all these religions. But well, back to that though, they're not classifying that as a UFO religion, and their premise was an extraterrestrial beings basically telling them that they're gods. So I feel like that should be lumped in there, but that's just my take on it. But I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, long story short, this was quite the investigation and knowledge. I really enjoyed researching this stuff today.
Interesting stuff.
Anybody else have any
Something
other
I didn't know about.
comments, questions, concerns?
Yeah. Do I expect to not have 84.59 at the end of this day?
No, it was 84.80. And are you talking about charge to our bank account?
Correct. Yes.
No, I'll just go one at a time. 16.95. Then like in a couple more weeks you'll see 26.95.
They gave you a list of the ones you have to read.
Yeah. So hang on, I'll pull that up. I have it right here. So you have to read.
So they wrote it. It's not like they like, oh, I really like this book from this author and you need to read it.
Right.
They wrote it.
It's from the original. It's from Dr. King himself, like just speaking about the Aetherius Society, what the belief systems are, the information that he was given, the things that he realized during his trance states and things like that. The one is called the 12 Blessings. The next one's the 9 Freedoms. The next one is Contacts with the Gods from Space. Next one, Realize Your Inner Potential. And the final one called the Cosmic Plan. And so because it's just like, hey, know what you're buying into, if you want. So they're like, hey, if you want to support us because you believe like in our, big analysis of life and the things that we need to do to achieve being better as a humanity, then you can be friends of ours and help donate to that, because they basically just use it for outreach, helping others, and of course probably doing their workshops and stuff like that. So I mean, all of their videos are free online. It's like, and none of the people make money that are in the hierarchy. So you don't do it for money, you do it for like just to gain that next level of like, okay, I know more about this process, I'm going to be able to share it with more people, I'm going to be able to help humanity, and I'm going to be able to help myself. It's literally what it is.
I thought Rich got beamed up there for a second. He went ghost.
He disappeared.
Fell out of my chair.
I need a new one. This one's getting uncomfortable. Maybe you'll see a charge for that too.
Oh.
Here we go.
Well, you put it.
Can you show me that can? I want to see what that can looks like.
I don't know if it'll show. Hold on a second. Let me just put this.
Just put it in front of your face.
Oh wait. Ah, no, it's not working because it's like, oh, there we go.
Okay. Outboard. Okay.
Outboard. Yeah, it's by MKE Brewing Company.
Okay. So I can buy that like at the local grocery store, or did you have to buy it at someplace special?
No, you can buy it wherever. Well, I mean, I don't know if every grocery store will have it. I don't know where we got this actually. Did we get it at Pick and Save?
We got Timers.
I like the try. Oh, did you?
We got it at the alcohol store.
Timers is the place to go.
We should, all three of us, or all four of us, we should go to a liquor store one time and do a live podcast from a liquor store. That would be off the hook.
These are what you need to drink when you're discussing these. You don't always have to be altered, but when you are, the discussions get really interesting.
You remind me to be a couple drinks in next time.
Oh, why were you bored?
No, I'm just saying, like you said, the more altered you are, the more experience you get.
It's like the ayahuasca of the paranormal world.
Right.
Just kidding, you guys. Everybody can be sober and still have a good time. We just, every once in a while like to throw back. But I drink water. Let's see. I even have my water here. It's like, look, it's like you can't even see my water cup.
I got water too.
Like a space age water cup. You can see it.
And a soda. I got all sorts of things to drink over here.
I've
got a blueberry muffin.
You have a what? A muffin?
A blueberry muffin, a cookie. I got all sorts of stuff over
here. He was camping out. He was ready for this to be a couple marathons long.
I told him, I'm trying to be healthy. I'm eating fucking fiber and oatmeal and bran flakes. Because I'm trying to be a healthier person. I allowed myself this beer today. One beer.
Yes.
I went and did my labs last week, and I got my results back, and all my numbers are better or the same as they were last time. So my doctor won't yell at me too bad.
Nice.
It's actually, that was pretty good. I don't remember what the number was. I will more watch my sugars and stuff like that.
And the only change you made was drink more.
I do. She's more, that's one of the things she's more concerned about is my sugar stuff. So she always tells me, don't drink the sugary drinks. So I don't.
Is she from Transylvania?
No, like it. I don't think she is. She hasn't tried to bite me.
Say blah blah blah.
Yeah, she hasn't tried to bite me yet. So
yeah, I'm trying to control my blood sugar as well. It's not like high, but I want to live a long time so I can talk about these things. I'm really not interested. Although, like when I do die, whoever's left over, I will come back. It's likely going to be my spouse there. Well, my soon to be spouse. I'll come back and haunt you.
We talked about this last week.
Secrets of the world.
We talked about this last week. I have a list of like 5 people. I'm still waiting to come and knock on my door when I'm investigating somewhere and say, hey, here I am. And that hasn't happened yet. So
right. Like you got to make a promise.
Because you missed it you missed it last week when we were talking. And I said, one of the things that, I have some people that have recently passed on, unfortunately. And when they were around, they always like to poke fun of me for being a ghost hunter and always, I'm going to come back and I'm going to haunt you and I'm going to come back. I'm still waiting.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's happening in your house and you're just not throwing up the recorder when you should be.
Well, you know what? Well, no, I do things like that. I sit down here at my computer when I'm doing my painting or whatever, and I'll put my K2 up, or I'll put my millimeter up. I'll put all that stuff up around me just to see what numbers are, to see if things start acting weird, because that's one way I test my stuff before I go on an investigation, is I see what it does around here in a kind of a controlled environment. If I can have it down here around all this electrical stuff that I have and it does nothing, then I go somewhere and in the middle of a place that has no electricity, no heat, no nothing, in the middle of a field, and you put it on a cement floor and the thing's going off. I mean,
Interesting.
Now you just got to call them out though. Be like, Martha, listen, calling you out.
Bob, you said you'd haunt me.
Let's do it.
I got a couple people, which I'm shocked have not come
Manifest.
through somehow, but like you said, though, maybe I'm not looking in the right place too. I mean, why would they come here? But
because they said they were going to come to you specifically. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're coming to you at nighttime when you're just trying to snooze and you're just ignoring them, and they're like, "What the hell, dude?"
I have not experienced anything that I can say is paranormal in my place of residency. So, however, I do know people that are telling me stories every day that they have weird things happen in their house, and I don't know what's going on lately.
And you're probably like, Gwen, what the fuck? Why can't you just show yourself?
You know what? If she's truly here, like you've have caught on, and Jenny even thinks that too, and whatever. And there's been a couple weird things. Yeah. Nothing I'm gonna say is nothing I'm gonna say is paranormal, but something. There was a couple weird things, and I don't know what they were, but she's great, and she's welcome to stay here and do whatever she does. We're just trying to
just tell her to step it up thing, be like, put a little pep in your ghostly step there, Gwen.
But back to that, I've had a couple people now the last couple of days come up to me and tell me they got stuff going on in their house and I need to get over there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, really?
Well, if they don't want a full team.
Yeah, let's go low key.
We are. That's my next thing. If a couple people, I don't want to go full blast with that because I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking maybe just a couple people go over there, just with a couple recorders and a couple digital cameras and a couple things. I mean, I don't want to videotape somebody's whole house for 8 hours. I just want to go over there and just feel it out. And they got some weird stuff going on, and they, they're concerned a little bit. They're like, man, this is crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay. Have you ever seen? Okay, see, this is what happens when I start talking.
We finished a topic, and then now it just keeps going.
He showed me a picture.
It's all right. We can put it on the blooper reel.
Showed me of me falling out of my chair.
Yeah.
He showed me a picture. He goes, look at this picture. Look at this picture. Everybody does that to me. And I get scared because I've had guys at work show me a picture and it's not a picture I wanted to see. Trust me. I saw Johnson one day and I didn't need to see that. That was the scariest thing in my life. So now whenever he comes walking towards me with his phone, I'm like, get that phone away from me. That's a different story. But anyway, that scares me. But he says, hey, look at this picture. So I'm like, it's a set of keys on a kitchen table. All the keys are facing up. The key ring on top is standing straight up. Like a loose key ring, standing straight up, and all the keys on the ring
are standing
are like this, standing straight up. He says this is what he says to me. I came home from work an hour or whatever, and I just threw all my stuff on the kitchen table. I just threw it on the kitchen table. When he woke up or came back to the kitchen, that's how he found them standing like that. And he took a picture of it. And he said he did it. He threw them a couple of times. He said every time. He said that doesn't. He said I can make it fit. I can make it do that and try to make it stand up, but it falls right over. It doesn't stay there like that. He said, but I walked in like I've done it like 5 times. Throw the keys on, toss them on the table, see what they do. They never end up like that. I thought that was kind of weird.
That sounds like a really good investigation for you guys.
Paranormal or just a little, or just by some strange luck, that's how the keys ended up. I've never seen a set of keys do that, but
you're the skeptic. You'll figure it out. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next Monday. Don't forget to tune in on Wednesdays for Weird Weekly News. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, guys.
Peace out. Ciao.
Ciao.